Hey, how's it going everyone? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review we are looking at the Square Enix Play Arts Kai DC variant Flash figure. He is pretty cool. I don't have too many complaints about him, and I'm going to say right off the bat he's probably worth picking up if you're getting the other variant figures. He's certainly a good one. There's nothing really super wrong with him, just a few little issues, so let's just get that out of the way. He stands about 10 inches tall to the top of his head, to the top of his little lightning bolts a little bit more. So he's pretty much in scale with all the other ones, no problem. The proportioning on him is really good. He doesn't have super big thighs. They match his lower legs just fine. His arms are nicely proportioned. The only thing is his torso is a little bit small. I think it would have benefited him. I know they wanted him to look sleek, but I think his lower torso is just probably a little bit too narrow, but still looks pretty cool. His general design is very angular, but it's also very organic looking due to the undersuit portions, like right in here and on the shoulders, along the forearms. It's very organic looking, even though parts of it do kind of look jet-like almost. Parts of him kind of look like turbines, like the chest part anyway. I don't know, just it's interesting to see the combination of the two, and I think he does look pretty darn good. I do like it a lot. Surprisingly, the effect parts that he comes with I don't care for as much, but we'll get into those in a minute. As far as accessories go, other than the lightning bolt stuff, he just has the two fist hands, which you can see, two fist hands, and then two open palm hands, which I imagine most people are going to pose him with his palms open. So that's okay. As far as the effect parts go, he does have the lightning bolts for the top of his head. This one goes on this side, or not the top of his head, but to replace the standard ones, and they just pop out. A little peg there, and these pop in, if I can see what I'm doing. I personally don't really care for it. It looks cool at first, but they're not as symmetrical as they should be, I think. We're going to get to that, don't worry. So I think the lightning on his head should be more symmetrical, and it just looks weird like that, I think. So I'm never going to use that. Since they don't line up, they're not in the same shape really, I don't care for it too much. So I'm going to leave these on. And these, I think a lot of people said they were too big. He looks like a Gundam and all this other stuff. I think it looks pretty good. I like it, so I'm okay with it. The parts for his torso, which I think are weird in the first place because it's just kind of awkward to have them in here. They're hard to get out. These little panels right here, there's one on this side and one on this side. You have to pop these out. And sometimes they're easy to get out and sometimes they're not. So those pop out and then these replace them. And they go like that. So just a peg, nope, wrong way. Like that. And like that. So that's okay. I mean, it's not horrible. They fit in fine. But it's just an awkward place to put them because you'd have to have both of his arms forward for those to not be in the way and to not look weird. So it's okay. I like the way that they made him connect to the body, but it's just kind of awkward. So if you have him running and you put one arm backward, you know, like he's taking a stride, it's going to be kind of in the way, especially if you put the lightning on the arm too. So I don't really care for that too much. They did do a good job though. It's nice and yellow with some reddish orange shading, so that's cool. Let's put the armor back on so he's not naked. We don't want him to be naked, as they used to say in Rugrats. If you were growing up in the 90s, you know what I'm talking about. If you weren't, then just ignore everything I just said. Surprisingly enough, he has no lightning feature for his lower legs, which I think he should definitely have. So that's a bit of a bummer. But let's talk about the arms. So how you do the arms, put the arm lightning on, is you separate the forearm. As you can see, it's popped off a few times. I don't know if that's because I stretched this out with the lightning piece, but that is a problem. It keeps falling off, so that's an issue. So you pop this piece off, which is really tight because it connects to the joint. So that comes off, and you put another one on. And you can do it either way. You can have the big lightning on the left or the right of either arm. They're symmetrical in terms of connecting, so that doesn't really matter. Let's put the one that's on the outside. Put that on all the way. And like I said, it's really stiff. Really tight to get that in there. That's good enough for now. And then you put the arm back on. And again, they're universal, so it'll fit on either one. So the arm's tight on the lightning piece. So I'm thinking it's just not quite molded evenly. So it stretched out the socket a little bit, and that's why it's falling. That might be as far as it goes in. It doesn't seem to want to go any farther. So I don't really care for that. I wish they would have just put a peg hole in the arm to connect the lightning to, because having the arm fall off is really disappointing. And again, not again, but to mention the lightning, it looks good on the arm, but I think it would have looked cooler lower down, and probably one for the feet as well. So having it just on the arms is okay. Let's go ahead and just do this one so you can see. See, it comes off really easily without the lightning. The lightning pieces seem to have larger pegs, which is kind of irritating. And trying to get it off is also really irritating because it's so darn stiff. Oh, come on. So I don't really care for this design. I like that they included the interchangeability, but I think it could have been executed a little bit better. That one doesn't fall off either way too much. It definitely stays on better with the lightning. So the lightning's on both sides. It looks okay. Maybe if I use lightning, I'll leave it on the arms just to give them some effect and to kind of balance out the legs. But I don't know. It's just, like I said, it's definitely not implemented as nicely as it could have been. So you put them in a running pose. And then the lightning on the back arm, while it's back, is going up instead of backwards. So like I said, the lightning just doesn't work as well as it should have been. Or as well as it should have. I can't talk. Sorry, guys. I haven't been sleeping very much. It doesn't work as well as it should, and it should have been made better. That's what I'm trying to say. So we'll just ignore the lightning for now. We'll leave it in. And let's talk about the figure. The paints on this guy are really nice. He's got this nice metallic orange and red and yellow going throughout. It's almost pearlescent. Maybe iridescent is the right word. Looks great. All the undersuit is like this darker color, darker burgundy kind of, and it's not metallic. So it's a really cool effect. I do like that a lot. However, the yellow parts of the painting that aren't metallic, all of these little seams right here, which are reminiscent of the new 52 design, this part down here, and then under there for the legs, it's really not good paint. And then putting the black in the seams, they just didn't do a good job of it, so it doesn't look good. So I would cover that up. He looks fine overall. It's just that the flat yellow does not look good, or at least the non-metallic. The legs look fine. So that's okay, I guess. The red parts all look good. I'm okay with it. As far as the articulation goes, the head has actually pretty good articulation. It can look up pretty far, even though he does have the helmet. So that's pretty nice. Looks down pretty far. Full rotation, side to side. Really no problems with the head. The shoulders, they do have the butterfly joint. They don't come forward as much as they could, but they move pretty far, so that's not so bad. That's a ball hinge, of course. It is limited by the shoulder armor, which is firm. It's not going to give. That is actually connected to the ball, so you're going to get the bicep swivel. Is there a bicep swivel? I didn't even look. Yeah, there is. Okay. I thought there was. That's separate from the shoulder armor, even though it looks like it's all one piece sometimes. It's actually separate. So the bicep swivel is in there. It doesn't have the greatest range of motion, though, due to that armor. It's just really kind of clunky. So it's not horrible, but it's not great. Of course, you already saw the joint for the elbow. It's a ball hinge. This one doesn't go in any farther than that on mine, and nothing looks to be mismolded, so I think that's just the way they are. So again, the elbows are a little iffy here and there, but you kind of forget about that once you get in post, so it's not really too big of a deal. The wrist is the same as the elbow, just a little bit smaller. Double ball peg for the upper torso. Side to side, it has some play. Forward and back, again, some, but not a whole lot either way. The rotation's pretty limited unless you angle it and then rotate it. So again, the torso, just like on a lot of the other Play Arts figures, it's there, but it's not as effective as it could be. This part you can see right in there. So that's a problem, but you can pull up his underwear a little bit. He does have a bit of an issue going on with the shaping of that piece, but we're not going to talk about that anymore. So you can see that it's the upside down ball peg, upside down T ball peg. So this piece does have a pretty good range of motion, although it does hit this piece in here. So you can't go too far forward. It can rotate, of course, and lean side to side. So I mean, the articulation's good enough, and once you get imposed, you'll be able to make it look okay. Just be aware that this is a very small floating crotch piece. So it's going to be a little bit of an issue sometimes. The hips are ratcheted side to side. These pieces can fold up to keep the joint looking nice and clean. Or if you just want to pop them out a little bit to look cool, that's fine. They ratchet all the way forward. If they pop out like that, just push them back in. No big deal. So that the hips look really good. He doesn't have super wide hips or super big thighs like Green Lantern or some of the other ones, so I'm pretty happy about that. Double jointed knees, nothing too special here. They look pretty decent as far as the Play Arts knees go. It's still not the best knee design, but they do work pretty well. The ankles have this cool ankle piece, which is connected by a little tiny ball peg in there. Hopefully you can see that. Can't really get it closer to the camera. Well, I guess I can. So there, little tiny ball peg for this ankle guard. That hides the joint nicely. Then the ankle does have the same type of joint as the elbow and the wrist. So you can use it if you spin it around as an ankle rocker. Just be aware that this piece is gonna hit. It's a little soft, but not for the most part, so be aware. He does have the cut joint in here, but I'm not a big fan of those, and they're a little bit ugly. But it's mostly hidden, so it's okay. He's not a perfect figure by any means, but he's definitely worthy of fitting in with the other of the variant figures. He's really cool looking, especially just at first glance, due to all the metallic and shininess. He looks pretty awesome. I do like him a lot. Again, he's not perfect though. He does come with the standard Play Arts Kai base, and it's inside the blister like they have been, or not base, display stand, and it has the instructions for all the interchangeable parts. But like I said, I probably wouldn't recommend using any of them, except for the arms maybe, especially if you can only keep his arms on by doing that. But they're not necessary. They looked cool in the pictures, but they didn't come out so cool. So there it is, guys. There's the Play Arts Kai variant Flash. It is a good figure. I do recommend it. Just don't expect it to be too awesome. Unless you're a huge Flash fan, then you'll probably geek out over it and be perfectly happy, because it is really good overall. Alright, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more figure reviews, custom figures, and other good stuff. And in the meantime, keep collecting.